It was a regular Thursday morning when Alex received a call that would change his life forever. He was sitting at his small kitchen table, sipping coffee, and scrolling through his phone when the screen lit up with an unknown number. Hesitating for a moment, he answered. "Hello, is this Alex Morgan?" a serious voice asked. "Yes, speaking." "Who's this?" Alex replied, his curiosity growing. "My name is Ms. Caldwell. I'm a lawyer from Greenfield and Associates." "I have some urgent news about your family," the woman said. Alex frowned. "Family? I mean, I don't think I have any family outside of my parents. Are they okay?" "There is no need to worry. Your parents are fine. This is about an inheritance from a relative you may not have met," Ms. Caldwell explained. Alex's heart skipped a beat. He had grown up hearing stories about distant relatives, but he never expected to inherit anything. Inheritance? What kind of inheritance? Ms. Caldwell paused for a moment, as if measuring her words. "Alex, you have inherited 1,000 acres of land." Alex blinked, trying to process what he had just heard. 1,000 acres? That's huge. Are you sure? Yes, it's true. The land belonged to your great-uncle, Thomas Morgan. He passed away recently, and in his will, he left the property entirely to you, she said. Alex felt a mix of emotions. Excitement, disbelief, and a little fear. He had never even met his great-uncle, and now he was suddenly the owner of 1,000 acres of land. 1,000 acres. He could barely imagine what that meant. "Alex," Ms. Caldwell continued, "the land is located on the outskirts of Willow Creek. It is beautiful and untouched, but there are some conditions you must know about. Part of it is under the control of a homeowners association, the Willow Creek HOA. They have strict rules regarding property changes, construction, and maintenance." Alex's mind raced. A huge property, untouched land, and now rules to follow. He could see it in his imagination: rolling green hills, forests, streams. He could already picture what he could do with such a place. "I understand," Alex said slowly. "When can I see the land?" "I will send you all the documents today. You can visit any time, but I suggest planning carefully. The HOA will be involved in any major changes you want to make," Ms. Caldwell said. Alex hung up and sat back in his chair, staring at the ceiling. He couldn't believe it. 1,000 acres of land, his very own. The possibilities were endless. He thought about the house he could build, a small farm, maybe even a place for his friends to gather. But he also remembered the warning about the HOA. Somehow, he knew this would not be simple. The next few days were a whirlwind. Alex received emails, legal documents, and maps. He studied every inch of the property on Google Maps, trying to understand the layout. Forests, streams, and open fields stretched across the land. It was more than he had ever dreamed of owning. Finally, the day came when he decided to visit Willow Creek. He packed a small bag, grabbed his camera, and set off in his car. The drive was long, winding through small towns and country roads. The closer he got, the more excited he felt. As he approached the property, Alex could hardly believe his eyes. The land was even more beautiful than he had imagined. A small stream ran through the middle, and tall trees lined the edges. Wildflowers painted the meadows in colors he had only seen in pictures. But there was something else, something that made him pause. A sign at the entrance read, "Welcome to Willow Creek. Homeowners Association rules apply." Alex frowned. He had expected beauty, but he hadn't thought about restrictions. Still, he was determined. This was his land. He could make it into whatever he wanted. He drove down the dirt road that led into the property, taking photos along the way. He stopped by a large oak tree and looked around. The air was fresh, and the sounds of birds filled the silence. It was perfect. Suddenly, a car appeared on the road ahead. Alex slowed down. A middle-aged man stepped out, dressed neatly, holding a clipboard. "Hello," the man said, eyeing Alex carefully. You must be the new owner. I'm Mr. Benson, president of the Willow Creek HOA. We've been expecting you. Alex felt a mixture of nervousness and curiosity. Yes, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. Mr. Benson smiled politely but with a hint of authority. It's a beautiful property, indeed. But I must warn you, there are rules here. Everything must be approved by the HOA. Any major changes, construction, or landscaping requires permission. Alex nodded. I understand. I just wanted to see the property today. Mr. Benson's eyes narrowed slightly. I hope you understand that not everyone is comfortable with sudden changes around here. The neighbors are particular. Alex felt a shiver of anticipation. He hadn't expected conflict, but now he could sense it. Still, he was determined to enjoy his inheritance. Thank you for letting me know, Alex said. I'll be careful. As Mr. Benson walked away, Alex looked around again. The land was his, and he would find a way to make the most of it. There was a thrill in knowing that his life was about to change completely. That night, sitting in a small cabin near the property, Alex couldn't sleep. His mind was buzzing with ideas. He could plant a garden, restore old barns, or even create a small lake for fishing. He imagined weekend gatherings with friends, campfires under the stars, and the freedom of having a place that was truly his. But he also remembered Mr. Benson's warning. The HOA would not make it easy. Alex knew he would have to be smart, patient, and maybe a little clever to make his dreams a reality. As he finally drifted off to sleep, a sense of excitement filled him. This was more than an inheritance. It was a chance to create something extraordinary. And little did Alex know, the events that were about to unfold would shock the neighbors, challenge the HOA, and turn his quiet life upside down. This was just the beginning. Alex woke up early the next morning, sunlight spilling across the small cabin. The excitement from the previous day hadn't faded, in fact, it had grown stronger overnight. He dressed quickly and stepped outside, the fresh country air filling his lungs. He decided to explore more of the property. His car drove slowly along the dirt roads that twisted through forests and open fields. Everywhere he looked, the land seemed endless, like it was holding secrets waiting to be discovered. Birds flew above him, and the distant sound of a creek made the place feel alive. As he rounded a bend, he noticed something unusual. A row of neat, identical houses appeared on a hill overlooking part of his property. Their white fences gleamed in the morning sun, and every yard was perfectly manicured. Curious, Alex parked his car and walked closer. A man was trimming a hedge near the road. He looked up and frowned at Alex. "Can I help you?" the man asked, his voice polite but firm. "I'm Alex Morgan," Alex said. "I just inherited the land nearby. I wanted to see the area." The man's eyes narrowed. "Ah, the new owner. You must meet the HOA board. They like to keep a close eye on things around here." Alex felt a chill. He had expected some rules, yes, but he hadn't imagined the neighbors being so watchful. Before he could ask more, a car pulled up behind him. Two more people stepped out, an older woman with sharp eyes and a younger man who seemed tense, like he was ready for a confrontation. "Good morning, Alex," the older woman said, her voice polite but slightly cold. "I'm Mrs. Caldwell, not the lawyer," she added quickly with a small smile. "I'm part of the Willow Creek HOA. Welcome, sort of." Alex's heart raced. This was more intense than he expected. "Nice to meet you," he said cautiously. The woman glanced around, her sharp eyes landing on the edges of his property. "We've been informed that you might have plans for the land. I hope you understand that any significant changes need approval. The HOA takes its responsibilities very seriously." Alex nodded slowly, trying to keep his excitement in check. "I understand. I just want to explore today." The younger man spoke up. "It's just unusual, you know? A new owner suddenly inherits 1,000 acres. People are curious. And, honestly, a little nervous." Alex laughed lightly. "I get it. I'd be curious too if I were in your place. The older woman smiled slightly. Curiosity is fine. But we value order here. Rules exist for a reason. Some people don't take kindly to surprises. Alex felt a thrill of tension. These neighbors were serious, but that didn't mean he would stop dreaming. Still, he knew he had to be careful. Any wrong move could make his life much harder than it needed to be. They walked him toward a small viewing platform overlooking a valley. From there, Alex could see the full scope of his land. Rolling hills stretched endlessly, dotted with forests, meadows, and a creek that sparkled in the sunlight. It's beautiful, Alex said softly, almost to himself. Mrs. Caldwell's expression softened a little. Yes, it is. But beauty comes with responsibility. You should know, there are areas that have restrictions, protected zones where you cannot build or change anything. Some of the neighbors are particularly strict about boundaries. Alex nodded, taking in every word. I will respect the rules. I want this place to stay beautiful too. For a few moments, there was silence. Then the younger man smirked slightly. We'll see, won't we? That simple comment made Alex feel both challenged and curious. It was clear the HOA would not make things easy. But somehow, he felt alive. The thrill of the unknown, the idea of pushing boundaries while respecting rules, it excited him. Suddenly, Alex noticed a small, hidden path leading into the forest. The HOA had not mentioned it, and it seemed to vanish quickly among the trees. His curiosity flared. What was down that path? Old ruins? A hidden pond? Maybe even something no one else had discovered yet? Interesting, Alex whispered. Mrs. Caldwell and the others didn't notice, they were focused on the boundaries. Alex's mind raced. This land had secrets, and he was determined to find them. But first, he had to navigate the HOA. They were like a wall standing between him and his dreams. As he walked back to his car, he felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. The neighbors were friendly enough on the surface, but he could sense their suspicion. Something told him that over the coming days, he would have to be careful every move he made would be watched. Back at the cabin, Alex sat down with his map and a notebook. He started planning. He would explore, take notes, and find the hidden corners of the property before making any decisions. The HOA could watch all they wanted, but Alex had something else in mind, a plan that would surprise them all. And deep down, he felt it. This land was not just inheritance. It was an adventure. And the first encounter with the HOA was only the beginning. As night fell, Alex looked out the window at the distant lights of the neighborhood. He could almost feel the eyes of the neighbors on him, judging, waiting. But Alex smiled. He had inherited more than land. He had inherited mystery, challenge, and opportunity. Little did the HOA know, the quiet new owner wasn't planning to play by the rules, at least, not entirely. The morning sun crept over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Alex stretched, feeling the crisp air fill his lungs. After the intense meeting with the HOA the day before, he was restless. Sitting still felt impossible. The land was calling him. He grabbed his notebook, a pencil, and his camera. Today, he would explore every inch of his inheritance. But more than that, he would dream. Alex knew he had to be careful with the HOA, but he also realized that he could plan smartly small changes that would wow the neighbors without breaking any rules. He stepped onto the hidden path he had spotted yesterday. Trees arched overhead, casting playful shadows on the ground. Birds chirped, and the sound of the creek from deeper in the forest guided him. The path twisted and turned until it opened into a secret meadow he hadn't seen before. Alex froze. The meadow was like a painting, wildflowers in purple, yellow, and white, a few ancient oak trees, and a small pond reflecting the sky. A perfect place for anything. A picnic? A little garden? Even a place for small events? The possibilities seemed endless. He knelt down and sketched a rough map in his notebook. Ideas flowed like water. He drew lines for walking trails, a small orchard, a campfire spot, and a treehouse perched in one of the sturdy oaks. He even imagined weekend gatherings, small festivals, and friendly competitions like scavenger hunts. But Alex also thought about the HOA. He knew that if they found out too soon, they might stop everything before it even started. So he scribbled a note. Step 1, observe. Step 2, plan secretly. Step 3, surprise them later. The thrill of secrecy made his heart race. For the first time, Alex realized this was more than land. This was a game, he was the new player, and the HOA were the watchers. As he walked back toward the main part of his property, he spotted something unexpected. One of the neighbors, a middle-aged woman with perfectly styled hair and a clipboard, was standing near the boundary line. She waved at him, a polite smile on her face, but Alex noticed her eyes were sharp, scanning everything. He waved back, keeping his calm. Good morning. Beautiful day, isn't it? He called. The woman's lips twitched. Yes, it is, she said, her tone neutral but cautious. I hope you're not planning anything unusual. Alex smiled innocently. Oh, just exploring. Learning about my new land. Nothing unusual at all. She nodded, but Alex could see her suspicion. He chuckled quietly to himself. Step 1, observe. Step 2, plan secretly. Back in his cabin, Alex spread out his sketches on the table. He stared at the lines, thinking of the hidden meadow, the pond, and the secret path. His mind buzzed with excitement. He realized that with some creativity, he could transform this property into something magical, something the HOA couldn't ignore, but in a way they couldn't complain about either. He imagined the reactions, neighbors speaking over fences, whispering about the new guy, wondering what he was doing. Alex grinned. A little friendly mischief would make things interesting. For hours, he explored, sketched, and photographed. Every small corner of the land held potential. Even the old barn, slightly leaning and weathered, sparked ideas. A workshop, he thought. Or a small cafe for weekends. People would love it. As the sun began to set, Alex climbed a small hill to watch the valley below. Shadows stretched across the fields, and the creek glimmered like a silver ribbon. He felt a rush of pride. This was his land. His adventure. His secret game. But he also felt the tension. The HOA would notice changes eventually. The neighbors were curious, maybe even nosy. Yet that didn't scare him. It motivated him. He knew that clever planning and patience were his allies. That night, Alex sat by the window, notebook open, sketching his plans under the soft glow of a lamp. He drew lines connecting hidden paths to picnic spots, planned small events for secret weekends, and marked areas for surprises. He whispered to himself, "They think they can control this land, but they have no idea what I have in mind." Little did Alex know, the hidden meadow and the old barn were only the beginning. There were secrets in the land itself, things that even the HOA didn't know. And when Alex discovered them, the neighborhood would be completely shocked. With that thought, he closed his notebook, ready to sleep. Tomorrow, the planning would continue. But he had a new rule for himself: always observe, always dream, and always surprise. Because in Willow Creek, the game was about to begin. The next morning, Alex woke with a rush of energy. The plans from yesterday buzzed in his mind, but today was different. Today, he had decided to take action, just a small action, something harmless, but enough to start shaping his land the way he envisioned. He packed his tools, a rake, a few shovels, seeds for wildflowers, and a small sign that read, "Welcome to Morgan Meadow." He smiled. A tiny step, a small visible change, but enough to spark curiosity. As he approached the hidden meadow, he noticed the HOA car parked nearby. That was odd. It hadn't been there yesterday. A feeling of tension tightened in his chest. From the car, Mr. Benson stepped out, clipboard in hand, his eyes scanning the land like a hawk. "Good morning, Alex," he said, his tone neutral but firm. "I see you're starting to make changes." Alex raised his hands, trying to appear casual. "Just planting some flowers," he said. "Nothing major, really? Mr. Benson's eyes narrowed. Even small changes require HOA approval. You must understand that rules exist for everyone's protection. Alex nodded, trying to keep calm. Of course. I didn't mean any trouble. But inside, Alex felt a thrill. The first clash had begun, not a fight, but a test. He realized that the HOA were not just watchers, they were challengers. And he was ready. As he started planting wildflowers along the path, a few neighbors appeared on their porches, curious and whispering to one another. Alex smiled to himself. Step 2, observe. Step 3, surprise. Suddenly, a woman approached him briskly. Alex! What are you doing? You can't just plant flowers here. Alex looked up. I'm just adding a little color, he said gently. It won't harm anything. She crossed her arms. Rules are rules. We can't allow random changes. The HOA has standards, and you need approval. Alex nodded politely, but inside, he was already thinking of ways to navigate the rules cleverly. He realized this was more than a confrontation, it was a challenge to be smart, creative, and patient. As the morning passed, Alex worked quietly, planting flowers in small, discreet clusters, moving slowly to avoid drawing too much attention. Every now and then, he noticed a neighbor peeking from behind a tree, or Mr. Benson scribbling notes on his clipboard. By noon, Alex stepped back to admire the meadow. The wildflowers were tiny but bright, already adding life to the land. And though the HOA were watching, Alex felt a small victory. A tiny step, yes, but it was his first claim on the land. Then, something unexpected happened. A small child ran across the field toward him, giggling. Are you making a garden? The child asked. Alex smiled, kneeling down. Yes, little one. Do you like flowers? The child nodded enthusiastically. It's beautiful. My mom says you're not supposed to change things here. Alex chuckled softly. Sometimes, a little change can make everyone happy. We just have to be smart about it. Watching the child run back home, Alex realized something important. This was not just a battle with rules or HOA. It was about winning hearts. If he could slowly show the beauty of his ideas, even the strictest neighbors might start to accept him. But before he could celebrate, Mr. Benson stepped forward, frowning. Alex, you've started without approval. I'll have to file a formal warning with the HOA board. Alex felt a thrill. The game had officially begun. This wasn't just planting flowers, it was strategy. Patience. Cleverness. Yes, I understand, Alex said calmly. I'll follow the proper steps next time. But today, I just wanted to plant a little color. I hope you can see that it wasn't meant to harm anything. Mr. Benson studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. I'll consider it. But remember, we're watching. Any further changes without approval could lead to serious consequences. As he walked back to his cabin later that day, Alex smiled. The first clash had happened, and he had survived. More than that, he had learned. The HOA were strict, yes, but not unbeatable. And his land, his beautiful land, was still full of secrets waiting to be discovered. That night, Alex sat by the window, notebook open, planning his next moves. The clash with the HOA had shown him the rules, but also the possibilities. He realized he didn't need to break rules to create magic. He just needed to be cleverer, more patient, and more creative than anyone expected. And somewhere, deep in the woods, a faint glimmer of something hidden caught Alex's eye, a forgotten pond, overgrown but still sparkling in the moonlight. His heart raced. Perhaps the real adventure had only just begun. The HOA thought they were in control. They were wrong. Alex smiled in the dark, imagining the surprises he had yet to reveal. The next morning, Alex woke with a sense of anticipation. Last night, he couldn't sleep. His mind kept returning to the hidden pond he had glimpsed during the last walk. Something about it called to him, whispering secrets he was determined to uncover. He grabbed his backpack, a small flashlight, and a notebook. Today wasn't for planting or sketching, it was for exploring. For finding what lay hidden in the heart of his land. The forest path was quiet. Dew clung to the leaves, sparkling like tiny diamonds in the morning sun. Birds chirped softly, and the distant creek hummed like a song only Alex seemed to hear. He followed the winding trail, stepping carefully over roots and rocks, until the forest opened into the small, forgotten pond. It was more beautiful than he had imagined. The water shimmered a clear turquoise, framed by mossy stones and wildflowers. He knelt beside it, peering into the still surface. Then he noticed something strange, a faint glimmer beneath the water, almost like a reflection of something metallic. Alex's heart raced. He carefully stepped closer, kneeling at the edge. With a stick, he gently moved aside some leaves and mud. And there it was, a small, rusted chest, half buried in the mud. He couldn't believe his eyes. A hidden chest, untouched for years, sitting quietly on his land. He pulled it out, brushing off dirt and leaves. The chest was old but sturdy, locked with a small padlock. Alex searched his pockets for a rock to break it open. With a sharp tap, the lock clicked, and the lid creaked open. Inside, Alex found something extraordinary. Old letters, photographs, and a small wooden box. The letters were from his great-uncle Thomas, detailing secrets of the land. Hidden treasures? Well, maybe not gold or jewels, but something far more valuable, knowledge. Maps of underground springs, notes on rare trees, locations of hidden orchards, and instructions for restoring parts of the land to its original beauty. Alex's eyes widened. This wasn't just inheritance. It was a legacy. A roadmap to make the land extraordinary, in ways even the HOA couldn't have imagined. Excited, he carefully packed the letters and maps in his backpack. He couldn't wait to start. But then he paused. He heard voices. Footsteps crunching nearby. Alex froze. The HOA? Or the neighbors? Peeking through the trees, he saw Mrs. Caldwell and a few others walking along the path, carrying clipboards. They had clearly noticed activity near the hidden pond. Alex's heart pounded. He realized they had no idea what lay beneath the water. A chest. A secret. Something magical. A mischievous smile spread across his face. Step 1, observe. Step 2, plan secretly. Step 3, surprise them later. Alex quietly backed away, hiding the chest under leaves again. The HOA members stopped near the path, murmuring among themselves. "Did you see movement?" one asked. Mrs. Caldwell shook her head. "Nothing serious. Probably the new owner exploring. Keep an eye on him." As they walked away, Alex exhaled slowly. He had discovered the first real secret of his land, and no one else knew. Back at the cabin, he spread out the letters and maps. The possibilities were endless. A hidden orchard behind the forest, a spring-fed pond for fishing, a rare grove of trees that could attract birds and wildlife. His land wasn't just beautiful, it was full of surprises. The thrill of discovery coursed through him. Alex realized that if he played this cleverly, he could transform the property while keeping the HOA intrigued, curious, and maybe even impressed. By sunset, he had a plan. Small, strategic improvements, planting rare flowers near the hidden spots, maybe even creating secret paths that only he and his friends would know. And one day, when the timing was right, he would reveal the treasures to the neighbors. The thought made him grin. The land wasn't just his inheritance, it was a stage, and he was ready to be the director. The first reveal would shock the HOA, perhaps even the entire neighborhood. That night, as the moon reflected off the hidden pond, Alex sat by his window, notebook open, sketching plans. He imagined the reactions: surprise, awe, maybe a little jealousy. But more than that, he felt pride. This was just the beginning. The land held more secrets, and Alex was ready to uncover them all. Tomorrow, the real game would begin. Morning came crisp and golden, and Alex felt a rush of excitement. Yesterday's discovery, the hidden chest and his great-uncle's secret maps, had filled him with ideas. But today was the real test. How would the neighbors, especially the HOA, react when they saw the first visible changes on the land? He had planned carefully. Nothing illegal, nothing that broke the HOA rules, just small, clever improvements that would wow anyone watching. He started with the hidden meadow, planting rare wildflowers along the small trails, tying handmade signs like Morgan's Secret Path to the trees. He set up little bird feeders near the old oaks, and even placed a small bench near the pond. By late morning, curious neighbors had gathered, pretending to check their gardens but clearly peeking at Alex's work. Alex spotted Mrs. Caldwell standing near the edge of the meadow, arms crossed, frowning. Mr. Benson scribbled notes furiously, but Alex noticed their eyes widening as they saw the changes. The reactions were priceless. One neighbor whispered, "Did he do all this overnight?" Another muttered, "It looks alive. Magical, even." Alex smiled quietly, hiding behind a tree. He felt like a magician revealing his first trick without even touching the wand. Then, something unexpected happened. A group of children, who had been secretly following him, ran into the meadow laughing. "Wow! Look at the flowers," one shouted. "And the bird feeders. This is amazing." Alex knelt down, showing them how to hang more feeders. Their excitement was infectious. Soon, the meadow wasn't just Alex's secret project, it was becoming a little wonderland for the neighborhood. Mrs. Caldwell approached cautiously, clipboard still in hand. "Alex, I must admit," she said slowly, "it does look nice. Very organized." Alex grinned. "I'm glad you like it. I just wanted to bring a little life back to the land." Her sharp expression softened, but she didn't let him forget the rules. "Well, the HOA will still need to approve long-term projects. But for now, I see potential." Even Mr. Benson couldn't hide his surprise. He muttered to himself, "I did not expect this." Not at all. The neighbors, meanwhile, began to interact with Alex, asking questions about the paths, the pond, and the bird feeders. Some offered suggestions, and a few even volunteered to help. Alex realized something. People respond better to beauty and creativity than rules and restrictions. By afternoon, the meadow was buzzing. Adults and children wandered along the new trails, stopping at benches, touching flowers, and laughing. Alex watched from the hidden path, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. For the first time, the HOA and neighbors were seeing him not as a new owner to control, but as someone who was enhancing the land. And yet, Alex knew the real surprises were still hidden. The chest, the secret maps, and the old orchard were yet to be revealed. The HOA thought they had seen the best of him. They had no idea the hidden treasures were just waiting for the right moment. As the sun set, Alex walked to the pond, watching the reflection of the trees and the sky in the water. He smiled. The first phase of his plan was complete. The neighborhood was intrigued, the HOA was cautiously impressed, and he had secured a small victory. He pulled out his notebook and wrote a single note. Step 4, surprise them more. Keep the magic hidden for now. Let curiosity grow. Because Alex understood something the neighbors didn't, the true power of the land lay in its secrets. And when those secrets were revealed, the reactions would be unforgettable. Tonight, as lights flickered in the distant houses, Alex felt a thrill. The game was only getting more interesting. And he knew one thing for certain, by the time the HOA fully realized the potential of his land, it would be too late to stop him. The meadow, the pond, and the hidden paths were only the beginning. The true magic of his inheritance and the surprises yet to come were waiting just beyond the trees, in places that only he knew. And somewhere, in the shadows of the forest, the faint glimmer of the next discovery promised chaos, wonder, and excitement for everyone involved. The sun rose slowly over Willow Creek, casting golden light across the land. Alex stood on the hill overlooking his property, a smile spreading across his face. After weeks of careful planning, secret discoveries, and clever surprises, the land was alive with color, laughter, and hidden wonders. The hidden meadow bloomed with wildflowers, the pond shimmered under the sun, and the old orchard, restored with care, offered fruit that attracted birds and small wildlife. Even the HOA had softened, Mrs. Caldwell had visited the meadow herself and nodded in quiet approval. The neighbors were no longer skeptical, they were curious, amazed, and even a little excited. Alex walked along one of the hidden paths, thinking about how far he had come. The first clash with the HOA, the secret chest, and the hidden paths had all led to this moment. His land was no longer just inheritance, it was a place of wonder, shared secretly with the neighborhood. Children ran past him, laughing and exploring the little nooks he had designed, while adults admired the beauty he had brought back. Alex felt proud, but also reflective. He had learned something important: creativity, patience, and clever planning could win over even the most rigid rules. As he sat near the pond, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves, carrying with it a sense of calm. It felt like the land itself was breathing, alive with secrets and life. Alex smiled, knowing he had finally made this land truly his. But just as he leaned back, a faint sound caught his attention. A metallic glint near the edge of the pond. Curious, he walked closer. And there, partially buried under moss and mud, was another chest larger than the first. Alex's eyes widened. He hadn't noticed this before. Could it be another secret from his great-uncle? Or something even older, hidden long before the HOA had existed? His heart raced. He pulled out the chest, brushing away the dirt carefully. The lock was old but surprisingly intact. With a deep breath, he lifted the lid, and froze. Inside was not gold, not jewels, not even maps, but something far more mysterious: a small, intricately carved box and a note written in handwriting older than his great-uncle's. The note read simply: "This land holds more than beauty. Only the worthy will discover its true secret. Are you ready?" Alex stared at the box, feeling a mix of awe and excitement. He didn't know what it contained, but he knew one thing: the adventure wasn't over. Far from it. The HOA, the neighbors, and even the children had no idea what was waiting just beyond the trees, hidden beneath the surface of the land. Alex realized that he had inherited not just acres of property, but a mystery, a challenge, and an invitation to explore the unimaginable. As the sun set, painting the sky in vibrant orange and purple, Alex held the box carefully, a grin spreading across his face. The land had already changed the neighborhood, won over the HOA, and become a place of beauty. But now, a new chapter was beginning. And somewhere deep in the shadows of the forest, a secret waited. A secret that could change everything, and one that would leave the HOA and neighbors utterly speechless when it was finally revealed. Alex whispered to himself, heart racing, this is just the beginning. The adventure of Willow Creek had only just begun.